welcome to this week's Bizarre Report. It's a little bit late, but whatever. It's been weird traveling. Here is a song. When Mata was in Ian's league, let my Mata go. They did not draft for first 2 weeks. Let my Mata go. Go down, Mata. Set up a league for mid-March draft. Tell Ian, let my Mata go. That was a shout out to earlier this week or last week or whatever. Okay, what happened this week in Bizarro? Okay, let's start with the Michael Vu versus Kair. So in our ESPN league, Kair pulled out a 10-4 victory, and then he did even better in Yahoo with a 16-6 victory. Nothing too interesting here. Kair only had 1 error, and Vu lost points because he had 2 wild pitches. Otherwise, pretty boring week. Next matchup, Jeff versus Josh. So in ESPN, Jeebs pulls out the 9-6 victory, whereas in Yahoo, Jeebs pulled out a 14-11 victory. So I'd say pretty close in both leagues. Jeebs, again, with lots of errors, 6 errors, 2 for Ozuna. And he also had 3 wild pitches, 2 from Paxton. But Jeff suffered a balk from Cueto, so that kind of balanced out the wild pitches. Jeff got an additional point for outfield assist from McCutcheon, who's got a couple of those already. Okay, moving on. Ben versus Levine. ESPN, Ben Judd pulls out the 10-5 victory. And in Yahoo, a much more dominating Ben Judd victory of 17-7. So really the only redeeming thing that I had was I got my standard outfield assist from KK. But I had so many freaking errors. I think I had 6, 2 for Chase Headley, who's been getting most of my errors. Ben Judd had no wild pitches, no balks, and no stolen bases allowed. I, on the other hand, had 2 balks. So that made a big difference. Hugo versus Yuki. So in ESPN, Hugo pulled out the Sunday comeback 8-6 victory. And in Yahoo, it was a little safer margin at 15-10. Yuki had 9 grounded into double plays, 4 for Altuve. And then he also had 6 errors, with 2 of them coming from Altuve. So that was a problem for him, Altuve. But Altuve was good offensively this week, so despite the 4 grounded into double plays. Hugo got a grand slam from Bellinger. Yuko had 1 less wild pitch, yet he had another one for Darvish, but Hugo had 2 for Martinez. And Yuki had no stolen bases allowed, and 1 more induced double play. Yu Darvish had 2 of them for him. So, despite the fact that Yu Darvish keeps having wild pitches, he does a lot of other good things. Let's see, Sheev versus Korea. In ESPN, this one is by far the most bizarre result I've seen so far. So in ESPN, Korea dominated 13-2, whereas in Yahoo, Sheev won 16-9. So Sheev's bizarre offense somehow did better than his regular league offense. So either Sheev is rotating his players in Yahoo and on ESPN, or somehow he's making all the wrong decisions in ESPN, and he should just let it be. Chris did get a grand slam for Jay Bruce, but then he had 6 errors, 3 of them from Segura. They matched each other on outfield assists, but then Sheev really made the difference by sweeping all of the holding men on base stats. So he had less wild pitches, no balks, only 1 stolen base allowed, and 1 additional grounded into double play. Also, 1 pickoff for Arrieta. So all of those really made a big difference for Sheev. And then the last one is Brasky versus Shame Quitter. In ESPN, Brasky pulled out a 9-5 victory, and in Yahoo, Brasky gets a 16-8 victory. So Maka had less errors, despite the fact that he had 3 from Bryant. Andy matched with 2 for Matt Carpenter and 1 for Molina. So again, Andy's Cardinals are really struggling on defense. Let's see. Andy had an outfield assist from the recently DL'd Piscotty. Andy had 31 double plays turned, 10 for Carpenter. And this is one thing I've realized about double plays turned is they're biased for first baseman because they're involved in pretty much every double play. Andy loses a point for a balk from Dylan Betances. And then Maka had 2 wild pitches, 1 from each of his closers. So last week I gave a little bit of a standings. Here I thought I would give some league stats, especially focusing on the Bizarro stats, just so you actually can see on the long term how's everybody doing. Okay, so start with the hitting and fielding stats. So for errors, the best or the least errors are for Ben Judd with 9, and the worst errors are for me with 21. For fielding percentage, Josh has a slightly worse fielding percentage than me at 979 versus 981. And the best fielding percentage is a 3-way tie between Hugo, Sheev, and Ben at 989. Okay, so grounded into double plays, Andy is the best with only 14, and the worst is Sheev with 33. Cycles, the only one who has a cycle is Vu, and he has 2 of them. For Grand Slams, Jeff Smith has 3. Several of us have 0. Outfield assists, the best one is Yuki with 10, and the worst is Maka with 0. Double plays turn, the best is Sheev with 107, and the worst is Ben Judd with 46. So maybe you could argue that Ben Judd has the best fielding percentage and least errors, but he's not trying too hard. Moving on to pitching stats. So if we look at losses, the best is Korea, who has only 7 versus 15 wins. And then the worst is me with 26 losses, and no one else is even close to that. Like the next worst is like 13 losses. But that kind of reflects the fact that I'm the only one who's rotating my pitchers in that league. Wild pitches. Best is Ben and Maka. I have only 3. The worst is Jeebs has 16. Box, there are several teams that have none. So Maka, Kair, Vu, and Yuki all have 0 box. The worst are Jeebs and I. We each have 3. Stolen bases allowed, again, let's see, best is Yuki with only 7 allowed, and the worst is a tie between Vu and Jeff at 20. Grounded into double plays, I'm the best at 28, but again, it might be skewed by the fact that I'm rotating my pitchers in. The worst is a 3-way tie between Ben, Maka, and Jeebs with 12. Pickoff, the best is Jeebs, he's got 3. The worst is Ben and Kair, who don't have any. And then saves, I put saves on here because the difference between Bizarro and ESPN League is the net saves category instead of just saves. So in the regular league, I'm leading with 37 saves, and Sheev is the worst, 1 save. But if we take net saves into account in Yahoo or in Bizarro League, then it's still the same. I'm the best, but only at 29, and Sheev is the worst, and he's at -1. Okay, that's it from Bizarro Report. I'll see you guys next week.